I am going to stand on existing protocols, even as I recognize the district inspector of schools and his colleague who has joined him, and also the head teacher of the whole school where we are, which is Holy Cross. The various persons here, whether the Ginger head teachers or teachers, I'm not very sure how the head teacher described them. The patrons, the executives of UNSA, Uganda National Students Association, yes. The president particularly, and all the lovely folks around him who are members of his cabinet. And also, as I recognize the people who are marking the debate, right? There are some people who happen not to be inside this hall. But there is a reason why I wanted to stand here. There is a psychology study that says that when you stand above people, you project a view of power over them. So I always like to stand at the level of the people that I'm speaking to, so that there's a communality of spirit. So in recognizing all of these people, I want to say thank you to all of you. But there's a special group of people really I want to recognize today. The real MVPs. You know what an MVP is? Yes. What's an MVP? Exactly. Most valuable player. That's a language we took from the basketball community. Every year they recognize the MVPs. So I want to actually recognize the real MVPs, the people for whom, if not they were here, there will not be any association, there will not be any debate, there will not be anything, which is every one of you here in the space. Thank you for taking out your time to come and be part of this process, which is actually meant for you. I take what the president said, the last comment he made, that this 5 days has not been about motions, it's not been about debating, it's not been about projecting a sense of acquisition of superiority of knowledge or ability to convince people. If that's what this 5 days has been about, then it has been a waste. It has also not been an exercise in you being able to leave your house and come hang out for 5 days in Ginger. I want to believe that this is really what he said, an exercise in instilling of values, in building lasting friendships, in networking with your peers, in understanding and learning from each other. This is what this 5 days is about. I look at the theme, and I like the theme, but I'm very, very much inclined to simplifying things. I like to reduce things to their lowest denominator. When people hear about the Sustainable Development Goals, it sounds lofty. 17 SDGs. Then people start quoting what it is. Eradicating poverty, clean water, life under water, life above land. You know, it sounds esoteric. It sounds removed from reality. But basically what the SDGs are about is about you and me. It's the ability to live a dignified life. It's about access to water. It's about your ability to be educated. Your ability to live in a world where you can breathe clean air. It's about your ability to live in a city where things are planned and ordered, to be far away from landslides and earthquakes that could be caused because of climate changes. It's your ability to get a decent job. It's your ability to have access to health services. So when you break it down, the SDGs are not as esoteric as the sun. The SDGs are about your day-to-day life. In that regard, when you then hear student voices, it's not necessarily that you are going to anything other than say and recognize that you actually do have a right to live a life of dignity. If you recognize that you have that right, and then you recognize that the person next to you has that right, then you create a community of people who understand duties and obligations, who then understand their space in being able to advocate for the actualization of these sustainable development goals. And then who in the future will have spaces where they can occupy and then be part of the people that implement policies, practices that make sure that all of these services under the SDGs are enjoyed by all. This is, if you break it down to the lowest denominator, this is what it is. So I'm not sure that there's anybody here who would not want to be able to get a job after school. I don't know whether there's anybody here who, if they are sick, do not want to go to a hospital. I don't know whether there's anybody here who would not want to be counted as one of the poor people, because the number one SDG is what? Eradicating poverty. So all of us, these are life aspirations. This is the world got together and recognized that we as humans want to live a certain way, and then encapsulated it into the 17 SDGs. So don't think you're far away from it, that I am not a government official, I am not a politician. No, it is about you and it's about your communities. And this is why it's important that from a young age, where you are now, you begin to understand your role in them and what you're supposed to do. So in that regard, I hope you have, out of these 5 days, understood why your voice matters. This is why they say student voices. Your voice matters. Your voice could be heard only at your village level. It could be heard only at your town level. It could be heard even at a ward level. But that voice is important at whatever level it is heard. And then when these voices are aggregated, when they are gathered together, and this is what this debate does. It gathers all these voices and then it amplifies it. And then it is heard at a higher level, national, international level. This is why these things are important. I am extremely passionate about young people. Extremely passionate. And I am not passionate about young people because I believe, oh, young people are the future of tomorrow. No. I believe the young people are the future of now. This is what I believe that the young people are important for. So I always constantly seek out what can we do in UNDP. By the way, in all of our work in UNDP, youth is a cross-cutting issue for us. So it doesn't matter the kind of work we do, whether we do it in governance, peace and security, nature, climate, energy and resilience, or we do it in our innovation and growth and partnerships, youth underline for everything we do. So I am very, very passionate about bringing young people into our spaces in UNDP. And I have an example of one with me who has come today. Rachel, I have a couple of them in my office. I have a lot of these young people in my office. And you can see she's female, right? That's also another tangent that I'm very passionate about. I'm not just passionate about young people, I'm passionate about young female. Yeah. I say that because we have a tendency, in Africa particularly, when we say youth, our default thinking is men. Default, that's what we think. If you look at, if you look at maybe leadership, maybe even one or two women, I hate tokenism. I don't like, there's a woman amongst us, what does that mean? I mean, we could have had all of these folks that stood there, we could have had like about 7 women and 1 man, right? It wouldn't be bad, right? Yeah. So, but this is also an appeal to the young ladies here. Don't let them make you dance. That's not what you're for. You're not for dancing. You're not for the ones cheering the leadership. No. You are for the position. That's what you are for. Yeah. Claim your space. You know what they're going to say when you try to claim your space? They're going to say you're aggressive. They're are going to say, you're forward, you're too forward. They are going to say all sorts of things, but don't listen to them. Because when you finally make it, all of them will just be, oh, they will be very nice to you. So, now let me be the youngest, so I don't put things in their head. But I'm really looking forward to next year, that if we, as UNDP, continue to work with the Uganda National Students Association, that we see more and more and more robust and nuanced female participation. In this regard, I've told the leadership that was very interested in working with you people in a systematic manner, not just coming by, come and see you guys and give you a few things. No, we would like to see how we look at what we do in the office, how we integrate some of the things that you have in this regard into our work. And for the longer run, we would also like a situation where we will be able to bring in more partners on the table to really have a structured way that works for your association, in how to be able to organize this. There's a multiplicity of platforms. We could gather them together and have what we do be more impactful and be more and not be fragmented. So we're looking forward to working with you in that regard. Finally, in the district inspector of schools, I really want to give a thank you to the teachers. Often, we always say, teachers are not recognized, which is sad, because there's absolutely none of us, whoever in the world, I don't care who you are, president of God knows where, you were taught by somebody. And we don't appreciate them enough, so I want to say a special thank you to the ones who have also been part of this process. Thank you. So, sadly, we have rules in the UN that don't allow us to hang out as much as we want to, which is why I am leaving earlier than I would have loved to. But you know, it's about rules and adherence to it. And we just came up with the 6 laptops because the request we got was very late. All of this we just organized in a few days. But we did bring you some few things. We brought you, I think, about 500 shirts. And then we brought you about 30 umbrellas. We brought you a bag that has some gifts in it, about 100 of them. And then we brought you some armbands. We just hope that everybody gets at least one thing, no matter how small it is. But next year, when we have time to really work on this systematically, next year we should do much better than we have done this year. So I wish all of you safe travels as you go home. Travel safe. And I want once more to thank the school that has hosted you, because this must not have been easy. And I'm sure, like the head of the patron said, anything that had not been done properly is always a cycle of self-learning and perfection. I'm sure it will get better. But on behalf of my colleagues in UNDP and myself, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here with you. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.